After Zanesville, it was a 75-mile drive to Wheeling, West Virginia, where I wanted to drive over the oldest suspension bridge along the National Road. Too many drivers of heavy vehicles had violated the weight limit, and the bridge is now closed to traffic. Back in the 90s, when I lived in the Ohio Valley, I may have used that bridge to get to Wheeling to shop at Stone and Thomas, but I remember doing so. Instead, I made my way to the second Madonna statue. Luckily, I could pull off the road and into relative safety. The West Virginia Madonna is flanked by 6 historical markers honoring various people. Not all of them are involved in the National Road. There is a National Road marker. It's actually closer to the road. The controversy of the Madonna statues is all statues depict the same woman, a white woman. Multiple molds representing multiple races were not used to create the statues in order to represent collectively the various races and ethnicities of those who traveled west. Maybe 90 years ago it wasn't important. Maybe having one mold made it easier for the DAR to manage the project. Maybe no one thought representing all women was the right thing. Whatever the reason or reasons, let us always remember it wasn't just one race of women who left everything they knew, everything they had, and risked their life for a new beginning, not knowing the outcome. Welcome to Pennsylvania. Uniontown, Farmington, and Addison are the places where I stopped. I also made an unexpected stop for a roadside attraction. That noise that you are hearing is a fan. We are in day 863,000 of a heat wave, and I'm having hot flashes, so I have to have the fan on. Sorry. Claiming July 4th, 1776 as its birthday, Uniontown's prosperity rose and fell with the coal and the steel industry. It was a stop on the Underground Railroad. It's the hometown of George C. Marshall. In April 1967 gave birth to the Big Mac. The McDonald's Big Mac was born in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Uniontown hasn't forgotten their hometown hero. There is a George C. Marshall Memorial Plaza located in the heart of Uniontown. I've done a walking tour video of it, and I'll provide a link to it for you. Now, if you're not familiar with George C. Marshall, he was the architect of the Marshall Plan. He served as the Chief of Staff of the Army, Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State. He was our first 5-star general, and he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Here are some photos of my walking tour. If you go to Uniontown, have multiple navigation options. If your car's navigation system is like mine, it will not be your friend in Uniontown. Only Google Maps worked. I'll provide a link to my George Marshall Memorial Plaza video at the end of this video. The Searight Tollhouse was built in 1835, declared a National Historic Landmark in 1964. Tollhouses were designed to help ease the task of watching the road. This meant the toll house had a second story to better spot advancing travelers. There used to be a gate to prevent travelers from skipping the toll, but those are long gone. At Fort Necessity, you can visit the National Battlefield, a tavern, and Braddock's grave. You'll learn about a mistake made by a young General Washington in a skirmish involving the British, the French, and Native Americans, which led to the death of Braddock. Washington buried General Braddock in the road, and the soldiers marched over the grave to tamp down the soil to prevent the French from locating and taking the body. When the body was found decades later, it was moved to its current site at Fort Necessity. You'll also learn about Albert Gallatin. In my National Road video of Illinois and Indiana, I discuss him, and I'm going to provide a link to that video. This is the Mount Washington Tavern at Fort Necessity. There is no tour guide, but I could walk around if I wanted, and if I had had my phone, I could have taken a cell phone tour. On display are the dining room, kitchen, tavern room, parlor, and multiple bedrooms. There's even a stable on the property. If it's true that travelers would share rooms with strangers, then the bedrooms in the tavern certainly have been designed to showcase this fact. After the battlefield, it was on to the old Petersburg Tollhouse in Addison. This tollhouse was gate number 1, as it was the first tollhouse you would arrive at if you had entered from Maryland. If you find yourself in Pennsylvania Laurel Highlands and want to visit the tollhouse, consider packing a lunch. There's a park across the street with picnic tables, playground equipment, and these cute little bears. In Maryland, I would visit yet another bridge, this one a record-breaking bridge in Grantsville, not visit a toll house in Frostburg, and in Cumberland end my trip at mile marker 0, the start of the National Road. After multiple delays and a lot of fun, I arrived exhausted but happy to be closer to my final destination of Cumberland and then my trip home. In 1813, the Casselman River Bridge was built, 354 feet long and with an 80-foot span, record-breaking for the time. It was a failed attempt to attract the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. In 1964, it was designated a National Historic Landmark. In 1966, it was placed on the National Historic Registry. If you go to the Casselman Bridge, plan to spend time walking on the bridge and soaking in the views. Lavale Tollhouse, the first toll house on the National Road, was the next destination. With photos and footage planned, I was eager to see it, but I never did. Either I drove past it or my GPS played games with me. Driving along, I did find this old truck in front of a restaurant. The information board identifies the area as the longest straight section of the National Road, and it's located in what used to be a forested area. My last stop was Cumberland, specifically to milepost 0. At the milepost, I met David and his dog Raffy. David told me about the nearby log cabin. The cabin, not in its original location, had been General Washington's headquarters during his first military command, and though normally closed to the public, it was open on the day I was in town. So we end this video where the road began, in Cumberland, Maryland, at mile marker 0. Tell me in the comments your favorite part of the video or the series. And thank you for watching my videos. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.